It is August the 22nd, 2021 at 8:14 a.m. here locally in southern Arizona. I can't recall the name of this park, and I've only been here once before. It's a couple of miles from where I'm staying, and it's maintained by the community. It goes on and on and on down these trails. I entered from that way and I don't really have an easy way to see where, to identify it further at this point. But I wanted to capture its charm and beauty as best as I could. And thank you, Vera, for the seat. But I don't know how to detail the experience that I've had so far this morning. It's beyond words. But what I can tell you is that I'm receiving all kinds of connections and confirmations. Good morning. I wanted to afford her privacy. Communications connections in ways that are hard to define. For example, just a moment ago, where you hear that lawnmower up by the front, there's a standard poodle that's both black and white, which I have never seen before. And its face is a young version of, especially the eyes, of a standard poodle I took care of numerous times in Santa Rosa and Healdsburg, California, before she left us in September of 2019. I had actually just been there through August for about 5 or 6 weeks, and then a few weeks after I left, she passed. I knew she was sick, we all did, but she didn't show it. She was a real trooper, and she had such soulful eyes. Actually, there it is. I don't know if you can see over by the lawnmower. There, see the pup? It definitely is that lady's, and yes, that is a woman. But you can see it's black and white, and they are so intelligent and so loyal. And the thing is, when I looked into her eyes, I saw my other standard poodle. And it's black and white, which I have been delving into the knowledge associated with understanding the role of both dark and lightness in our human experience. And the fact that she looked so much like Vikki, I mean, her eyes were the same. They were this deep, soulful beauty that I then went, oh my gosh, it's black and white. And I have been, let's call it studying. I have been focusing on the dark and the light and how they work together to teach us a little bit more about who we really are and what is the purpose of being embodied in the density of form of our physical body. And then moments before that, as I was walking down the main road to get here, I have 4 audios that I recorded that I have uploaded to my Gmail archive, not Gmail, Google Drive archive, and for permanent storage. But I realized that it had been so long since I had recorded them, I couldn't really remember what they were about. So before I removed them from my cell phone device, I thought I would at least re-listen to them. And I only had a chance to listen to one from the time I left my house to now. And it ended with talking about a scene from Wall Street, saying that I was about to channel, about to attempt connection, and that I would see if I could get any connection to this scene in Wall Street. And what blew my mind, and I just had to turn it off right away and knew that I was, let's say, connected, without even trying to, that's kind of the point, was that before I left the house, I got information about someone that an acquaintance of mine that has a job that's considered a Wall Street job. And I remember, and I had not found anything about this person, or it hadn't come to me vicariously in years, but yet poof, there it was. And it was this information about their position on Wall Street. And I thought, that's really interesting. I wonder now why I would get that. And then I listened to the recording, and it was an indicator of I was getting exactly what it was confirming what I had just done, as if it was there with me. Good morning.
Good morning. Beautiful.
Oh, it is. It's a perfect day to be out here in this park, too.
Yes.
Have a lovely day.
Okay, you too.
What a charming couple. Oh, look, they're holding hands. I love that. Connection. So I think, need I say more? I feel connected. I want to finish my walk here in this park and have captured what I wanted to, which is I am experiencing life in a way that shows me ever and again the more of things, to a degree where I no longer have to set an intention, try to sit and meditate my way into a feeling or into an experience. I just simply am in those experiences now. And it's confirmed back to me over and over again with signs like the 2 I mentioned, and just seeing this lovely couple connected, holding hands. It's showing me that it's kind of bringing back to me my own experiences of that moment with confirmation of this connection, by saying and this is metaphoric, we just saw that you just had that experience with your Wall Street colleague. We just recognize that you are exploring the dichotomy or the linear range from dark to light. And then in the point of neutrality, I would like to add that if you look at the dark and the light, or any dichotomy, any emotion, as if it were registering on a linear scale, where you could, let's say, take the tuning bar and turn it up, turn the volume up or turn the volume down to represent visits to the frequency along that linear line from one extreme to the other. At any one of those given points, you can also then go deep as if you're looking at the earth from a satellite view. And we all know the ocean runs extremely deep, but on that type of a view, all you see is the contrast that represents the body of water. You don't see that it goes deep. So any one of those points, you can then dive deep into that point of, let's say, neutrality or whatever. But it's saying we see you. We recognize that you are doing this work, and we're bringing it to you in a way that you would stop and look at, being the obscure experience of having a standard poodle just sitting on its own, untethered, but with collar, that's black and white, with the eyes of a former standard that meant so much to me, that, the soulful eyes. There's a message in all of that. Now, I'm not saying that it is the world confirming itself to me, going, see, we see you. It's just the way that it is. It's an organic, native, natural, electromagnetic process. I'm just using that metaphor to help kind of describe it in a way that someone could understand. One more thing, that couple was holding hands, and I didn't mention, but I was aware of the fact that in San Francisco in the late spring of 2017, I was getting all of these connections, and I was following all these leads, and it was leading me around the city in an amazing and mesmerizing way. Ultimately, what happened was I said, "Who are you?" And on this song that was playing in my earbuds, I got the lyric, "When you hold my hand, you'll know where I am." And then just a few days later, I had this amazing experience that defies words, that I'm not going to go into here, in Union Square, where every song on the track from the Beatles album, I can see the picture, but I don't remember the name. The most recent one that they released, that it was released on their behalf, was coming alive in my view. For example, one song was talking about raining or crying, and at that moment, it rained gently on my face. And after that, I went to a drugstore to get change, because I was going to be on the train the next day, the Amtrak back from San Francisco to Penn Station, and I wanted to have a $20 bill to leave as a tip for the concierge. I can't remember what that guy's called. The guy who provides service for you when you're in a private cabin. And when I bought something to get change and came out, there was a homeless guy standing there talking to me, and he was speaking gibberish, and I couldn't understand much of what he was saying, but he kept saying, "You can do it too, you can do it too." And he kept using these hand movements, which I later learned was sign language, and he was saying, using the symbol for "I love you, I love you, I love you." And I asked him his name and took his hand to shake his hand, and that's when I took his hand and realized later that the lyric was coming to fore in this unique and unusual way. And he said his name was Manuel, and I thought, what an interesting name. And I went back to my hotel room, looked it up, and Manuel means of God. So when I see people holding hands like that, and when I take note of it, when it feels loving, when it feels out of place, when it touches me in some way, I remember that experience where I met Manuel, I met God, what we would call God, in an experience that of holding a hand, or when you hold my hand or touch my hand, you'll know where I am. All right, with that, I'm going to conclude. I've been talking a long time and made my points and then some.